I'm Craig Slate.
And I'm Edward Todd.
And you're listening to
The Fresh Craig.
Hello, kids.
You caught me by surprise there.
You know, I'm always trying to come up. Welcome back. We're really starting to have some fun now, and
it's not happy hour yet.
Getting a little punchy. Yeah, we've not started any happy hours yet. Although I'm ready.
Me too.
Are you ready for happy hour?
Yeah, absolutely.
See, oh my gosh, we should always have drinks. I think most of our guests would appreciate that.
Yeah.
We would be a mess.
None for you.
We'd be a mess.
The last guest, maybe. Maybe, who knows? Kathy, Kathy's showing up later.
Wow.
Maybe she's coming in.
She's
bringing a
Tell you
tray
some
of-
secrets?
Yeah.
So, hey, welcome. We've got another outstanding guest. You have been the surprise guest, right? So you are the special. So
All right.
No pressure.
No, it's okay.
For sure, no pressure. There's nothing pressure about this show. It is Tamara M, because I will let you work on or do the pronunciation just so I don't.
Do you want me to say my last name?
Please.
Okay, that's half of the interview though.
No, that's fine. That's
Muruetagoiena.
Muruetagoiena.
So
There you go.
you don't. Now I get that you don't roll the R on it, right? You don't roll.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
Muru. No.
You don't have to.
Okay. But could you?
You could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I won't get offended.
So, anyway, welcome. So yeah, that is it's quite a lengthy last name.
Yeah.
So, where are you from?
I am from that mysterious place called the Basque Country between France and Spain. Yeah, that's where I grew up. I was born. Been in the U.S. most of my life though.
So there's a lot of Basque people out in in the Central Valley.
Yeah,
anyway.
Central Valley, Nevada, Idaho, Wyoming.
Southwest
Yeah.
Arizona.
That's right. They came to this country in the 1800s as sheep herders. Yeah, moved into other livestock. Yeah.
So curious. So
Yeah.
so I was in Bakersfield. This goes back years ago, and went to a Basque restaurant there.
Wool growers.
Probably.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
So-
the name. Yep.
But we had pickled cow tongue.
Yeah.
Do you eat that?
No. So Basques have been here, since for a long time, right? And over the generations, they brought some of their original food from the Basque Country, and some of it was adapted to the U.S. So it's a little different. Yeah, it's very special.
You ever had that?
Not pickled. I've had plenty of tongue, but not pickled. That was like a Sunday afternoon at my house.
I couldn't do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was tough.
There are limits to things, you know.
So it's a lot of good food there. The pickled tongue, that was not it. So it was different for sure. I'm actually not a fan of the tongue at all.
Well, it's an acquired taste.
It is. But anyway, so yeah, so you come from Spain. How now? Where do you reside now?
Very good question. So I'm moving I was living in Connecticut for the last few years, and I'm moving back to California. That's where I've lived a long time in my life. But yeah, moving here to the Bay Area.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Again.
So Bay Area, like San Francisco Bay, or down?
Los Gatos.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. South Bay.
Nice.
I
Very
lived
nice.
there for a few months,
Did you?
years ago. Yeah.
Did I know that?
Mhm.
He's a Gilroy boy.
Now you know.
So he's also California, but he's not coming back. He's now Texas, tried and true. So,
All right.
so you're director of sustainability with IFPA, correct?
That's right.
Yeah, and so you gave a talk this morning on sustainability, and we want to get a little bit into some of the stuff that you talked about and what you're doing.
Because we missed it.
Yeah.
And it
Aw.
wasn't because we slept in, because we were here working.
How could you?
Yeah.
So, but before we get into that, how in the world sustainability? How does that become your life? How do you get into produce? How do you wind up at IFPA?
What's the story?
What's
there,
the story?
So I've been a sustainability professional from the beginning of my career, before sustainability was cool or sustainability had a name. I started working for the EU in the European Parliament. I did environmental policy there and agricultural policy. And then I went back to grad school, became a scientist, and worked more on the science field. And I've divided most of my sustainability work between forestry, which is part of my background, and agriculture. I got into produce about 10 years ago with a company called Driscoll's. You might have known.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Largest berry company in the world, and so I was there for a number of years, also leading sustainability programs. Through a winding road through life, I ended up at IFPA about a year and a half ago. So IFPA was created in January 2022. And right away, the association knew that they wanted to have a sustainability space, and they wanted to hire a sustainability person, and so that ended up being me. And so I had, in my previous life, I had seen sustainability for one company, a few crops, but now I have, in my opinion, the privilege of looking at sustainability for the entire industry, which is fascinating. And as I said, I'm a sustainability professional. I've always done this, and it used to be called different ways, and now we're the cool kids, which is, I love it, right? How did it happen? I don't know, but
cool might be a little stretch, but
oh, come on, it's totally cool. Everybody's talking about it, at least, yeah.
So I'm curious. Yeah, everybody is talking about it.
Yes.
What's your definition of sustainability?
So I can tell that you didn't come to my presentation, because that was like the second slide.
Okay.
Yep. How do we define sustainability? So that's one of the biggest questions. How we define it? Well, we don't define it. We let the UN define it for ourselves with the UN Sustainable Development Goals, and we follow the UN Sustainable Development Goals. But for the association, for our industry in particular, produce and floral, we divide sustainability, the work on sustainability, in 7 focus areas, because you got to put some buckets to the work, otherwise it could be all over the place. And those areas are packaging, food loss and food waste, climate change, regenerative agriculture, water, energy, and social responsibility. And yes, that's how we work on that area.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, because that's always, for me, in the sustainability, and like I say, everybody is talking about it, but sometimes I'm not sure everybody's on the same track, right, or comprehends how sustainability should be or whatever. So
I didn't realize the UN had
Sustainable Development Goals,
or any oversight, for that matter.
It is kind of leading the chart on how companies and organizations around the world define sustainability, through the UN, as they call SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. Yeah.
How are we doing in the fresh food space?
I think that in the produce space, we're actually doing well. We always could do better, right? We have immense opportunities out there for us. We're really bad about telling our story. That's where we're not doing so well. And in sustainability, you have to tell your story. A company, a group, and starts their sustainability journey, and you have to tell the story of that journey. You have to be transparent. That's the expectation this time in our world. And the produce industry, for the most part, has not done that. So that's an area where, we could do a lot better. In terms of practices, we're doing a lot, and I don't think that most of our companies are aware of what they're doing also. So we need to be more mindful and more focused on what we do, because we're doing great work already, and we could do so much better. So we have great opportunities. It's an exciting time for our industry.
Yeah, and it's for sure. And for all of us in Ed's company, they're at the forefront leaders in that. In fact, I spent 9 years with him as well, so I'm very familiar with his side of the business. But you know, there is, like I say, there's stuff that they do, you know, with taking some of the packaging out. You know, we work really hard at my company. We use technology to help reduce food waste, those kind of things. Right. What are some of the trends? What do you know, I know in your talk today you had some trends and some stuff going on. I think you have trends both nationally, globally, all that kind of stuff. What are some of the things you're seeing in the trend space?
So from those 7 areas, right now, where the focus is in the world, everywhere, the conversation is mostly for us, our industry, is in 3 areas. That is packaging, climate change, and regenerative agriculture. That's where everyone is talking about and focusing on. And so those are
packaging specifically.
Good question.
We like to focus on reusable versus recyclable.
Right.
Recycling being the last resort.
Right.
So definitely reusable for us at IFPA is king.
Yes, so you're a reusable RPC company, very rare. Anything reusable in the produce world is very rare. So let's start from the beginning. Packaging is essential to our industry, right? We have perishable products that come from the field and go through a very complex supply chain of high temperatures, low temperatures, high, low radiation, etc., from the sun, and then go to the consumer, and then they have requirements for food safety and quality. So they have to be in good quality. That's a lot to ask, right? And so packaging is very much part of us. And so right now the conversation in packaging is it's just improving plastic use, and also getting away from plastic, right? So a lot of the conversation on packaging is driven by regulators. So if we think about what sustainable packaging is, and you were saying, or reused in packaging, for the produce industry, reusable packaging it's kind of the next frontier, is somewhere where we would love to go towards, but it's very difficult today because of food safety mostly. And also because of the complex supply chain. And so great opportunity there for sure. But a lot of the innovation is focusing on either increasing the recyclability of products, so making it more recyclable, increasing the recycled content of packaging. And then another big area is the whole world of compostable materials. That is taking a lot of attention and focus in the US. A lot of innovation is going there. It's not in its infancy, but it's a young technology, not applicable for every product, but good hope there, exciting, I'd say, but with caveats too. Right now, it could pollute if it's not properly discarded, it could pollute the recycling stream, etc. So we could talk about packaging for a long time.
Well, and so we're not going to be able to do this here. No, but I'm just saying it. So I've got this mission. So I'm a little frustrated by some of the efforts that we do, that I feel like that we're really not doing anything. Okay, I use recycle bin at the house. Right. I have my doubts as how much of that's actually making it back in the system, right? I mean, I see the maybe it's just, I don't know. But that being said, it's put me on a path. I do, are you familiar with Nespresso coffees?
Of course, yes.
Okay. So Nespresso, when you use the pod up, you get this little bag, right? You put the pods in, UPS.
Yep.
I know those now. I'm hoping they don't just, throw those away, so I feel good about doing it. But for me, that's like actionable, and for sure it's going back. Then they supposedly take the grounds and they, use those as a
compost.
What's that?
Compost.
Compost. Thank you. Yeah, they compost those and they take the little containers and they reuse them. So this all leads me to a mission that I have been on and we've tried to do. So the trays in produce, there are a lot of plastic trays, and I have tried to partner to do something similar to what Nespresso's doing, is try to partner with people on the recycling end to grind it up or whatever, right? I get zero. Nobody wants to mess with it.
Yeah.
Very frustrating.
Very frustrating. So, so plastic is always at the mercy of the oil market, right? So if the price of oil is high, yeah, companies will be more interested in recycling or buying used plastic. If the price of oil is low, forget about it. No one's gonna buy that product. In order for a product to be recycled, it's a very, very complex system, right? So we are at home, we wash it, we put it in the right bin, and then it goes to a place that's called MRF in the U.S. It's a distribution place where all the materials are divided into sections, and then someone has to buy that product to recycle it, right? So someone has to want it. So a recycling company has to buy it. That recycling company has to have the technology to be able to recycle it. It has to be able to get rid of a label if there's a label or whatever they need to do. And that there's a lot of energy put into recycling. So it's not, in my opinion, the most effective system in the world. And as you said, I don't even know how much is recycled. Right now we know that about 8% of plastic is being recycled in the US. And globally it's pretty much, it could be a similar number, average. So let's say it's not a good system.
Does some of the plastics we produce wind up in foreign markets?
Yes, most of them. And so
we don't have control, obviously, of that
we don't know.
From a regulatory
Exactly.
perspective.
We don't know if they're discarding them in the sea or what. It's not. So China stopped buying our discarded plastic in 2018. And then so we used other markets, so Vietnam, Indonesia, etc., whoever is willing to buy them. But some of it is happening here domestically. There are recycling companies, but there are not that many. And as I said, you have to have the right technology to transform that discarded plastic into a new material. Not that easy.
Well, I guess that helps me understand a little bit of why there's such lack of interest.
That doesn't give you any more motivation.
It does. You know, I mean, literally, I actually put somebody on a project to try and, I mean, I had him call in different recycling companies and stuff like that. And then, I gotta say, the Nespresso idea concept is great.
Right. It's tangible. It's tangible.
Yeah,
yes.
for sure. Yeah.
And you feel good about it. A lot of people feel very good also about, you know, the cities that have industrial composting. They love it too. People feel very strongly about that because you know it's going somewhere and is doing some good. So there's a positive connection with that. With recycling, right now we don't have a positive relationship. That's where we are.
So, but so in the trends, so we didn't really get into some of the trends. So some of the things that you're seeing though trend-wise that you talked about today, what?
Climate change. You might have heard about it.
Yeah, I've heard a little bit about the climate change. Yeah,
that's a thing.
Yeah.
It's starting to become a thing. But yeah, I mean, but so on that front, I mean, I know there's a lot of noise here, and we talk a lot about it here, but it's a global issue.
Yes.
Is some of the other countries, some of the places that are really potentially the bigger creator, I mean, are they starting to also have it be part of their discussion on a regular basis? I mean, like I say, there's a lot of energy here. They made a movie about climate change here.
Yeah.
But you know, the real question is how are the other countries around the globe? Are you seeing that kind of energy? I know Europe's big, right? You know, they've been on it for a long time. So. Right.
So there, every country right now in the world has goals through the UN Conference of Paris. They all have committed to limit their greenhouse gas emissions. And so different countries will have different goals, but they all have goals. So they're all working towards the same, objectives. But they are doing it a little differently. For us in the produce industry, I think we have great opportunities. A lot of the focus has been on energy use, renewable energy, transportation for sure. And that every industry, everyone has opportunities there and has to do great work there. But we in produce, because we're agriculture and a lot of the produce is grown in soil, soil has a great potential to be climate change mitigator tool, because soil stores carbon through the plants. And so that capacity to store carbon and to reduce the release of other greenhouse gases, it's a great potential for our industry to be part of the solution and not part of the problem. So we want to educate people on that connection and that opportunity that we have collectively as an industry.
Right up your alley.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to have to do like a continuation interview, because there's so much, like, I'm start thinking about, we were talking about global trends, and I'm curious as to who you're working with internationally, with other organizations I'm sure that you have interaction with, how members, first of all, so if you're in the produce industry, then you should be a member of IFPA, right?
Yes.
So, and take advantage
yes.
of all of these.
Totally.
Take advantage of all these great resources that we're talking about today. So, but yeah.
I think, I mean, I work for the association, but I do feel strongly about it because we provide that place, and in the area of sustainability, we provide a space where we educate people, we connect people, we create tools. We have a great sustainability council, really large. We have sustainability working groups in different areas. So in packaging, we have one. In climate change, we have another one. Doing great work, moving the needle. So I think that sustainability, which is such a global concept and such a global work, an association like ours that has global presence is an ideal place to go.
Well, I like that. That's a good pitch. That's a good pitch and a good place for us to come to a stopping point. And like I say, it's been a pleasure, to have a surprise guest come in. I have to tip my hat to Julie Kravanek. She heard her speak this morning, and she was raving. And I'm curious, can they find what you did this morning? Did y'all record that? Are y'all going to put that out, or do you know?
That's a good question. I know that it was recorded. I hope that our communications team puts it somewhere. I don't know exactly. I don't know their plans with it, but yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no, I'll check on that and see, because like I say, she raved about the presentation and you, and she was right. And you've been great to have on. And like Ed said, we'll need to do this.
Thanks, Julie.
Get back.
She was on with us last year.
Thanks, Julie.
She walked up, and I thought she was
Julie.
trying to get in here. I said, "Hey, Julie, you already did this last year."
She was just bringing us more good guests, more good content, and like I say, and I know you're doing good work. Like I say, you work for the association, but I'm sure in this, what drives you is you're passionate about this.
100%.
Right? This is important to you personally, and so therefore it's not just a job; it's a mission for you, right?
Yes, I am mission driven. This is my ultimate passion. It's my work is my vocation. I believe very strongly in leaving the world better than I found it, and there's my journey too, in sustainability and everywhere else. So yeah.
Outstanding. Well, Tamara, thank you very much. We appreciate it,
Thanks for being with
and
us.
welcome back to the Bay Area, and good luck with your move. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Such a pleasure to meet you.
And guys, we'll be back here shortly. Another 10 or 15 minute break, and then I think Mr. John Carter's coming up.
We have John Carter next.
Oh my goodness, you guys buckle up, because it's going to get real. So we'll see y'all in 2 and 2.
Or
as
4 and 4.